Hey, it's LSFT here today, and today we're here to look at the Lexus RZ. Yes, the RZ. There's a lot of people who would say the RZ does not have enough range, and it's a car that we should not be even worried about because the new platform is coming in 2025 or 2026, and this one will be a write-off in totality. Well, in the meantime, there is the RZ, there is a BEV with Lexus, and they're looking at it as it's a BEV that we should still consider. If it's a second car, definitely I think it's not a bad car. It's just probably not enough range, right? Well, anyways, we're looking at the safety rating in Europe, the Euro NCAP, and the RZ has been awarded the 5-star safety rating. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is really more because of the RZ has the Lexus Safety System 3.0, which is the same as the RX and the NX. The Euro NCAP has actually made this year's testing more harder, so we'll have to see what the difference is for the LSS 3.0 on the new tests. And the NX RX has actually aced it. They did actually quite well overall in the 2022 models, and overall they actually got 5 stars as well. So now if we put in the NX and the RX into this new test, you will probably see that their percentages have gone down because they've risen the bar. So let's see what the RZ does and how we interpret that into the RX and the NX. Follow me on Instagram at LSFT Videos. You can see updates on my experience with the NX 450 Plus, which may not be shown on any future videos. You can also reach out to me via direct messaging if you have any questions on your Lexus. If you like this video, you can provide me feedback in the comments below, like this video, and share it with your friends. This definitely will help me with the YouTube algorithms. Press the subscribe button and bell icon and get notified when new videos show up. And lastly, if you want to support me further, you can provide me a super thanks, which is greatly appreciated. And now let's continue with the video. Alright, so the all-new RZ awarded 5-star rating by Euro NCAP. So let's look at the press release and then we'll look at the report a little bit more, and later on we'll compare that with the NX and the RX to see what is the change in the Euro test and also how do they square off. So the first highlight here, it says it has high safety scores in all categories for the Lexus battery electric SUV. The Lexus Safety System Plus detects risks and assists drivers' response. And it also has a robust construction and passive safety features to ensure excellent impact protection. So the all-new RZ has been awarded the 2023 5-star rating by Euro NCAP, the Independent Vehicle Safety Testing Organization, and the results are released on September 6th, and it shows that the Lexus battery electric SUV scores highly in all categories, 87% in the adult occupant, 87% in the child occupant, 84% in the vulnerable road tests, and 81% on the performance of the safety assist systems. So the Lexus RZ meets Euro NCAP expectations for all-round good crash protection for occupants, representing a range of ages, heights, and sizes. The car is equipped with the latest crash avoidance systems and comes with several new active safety innovations. The RZ is the first car that Euro NCAP awards for child presence detection technology under the latest 2023 rating regime. The child presence detection system, which warns when a child or infant may have been left in the car and sequentially potentially saving life savings in hot weather. So the RZ is inherently a strong platform and body construction, with the battery unit integrated into the chassis, and takes care of passive safety with 9 airbags as standard. Moreover, the all Lexus models, the RZ is equipped with the standard Lexus Safety System Plus, a comprehensive package of advanced safety systems and driver assistance systems. In the latest 3rd generation Lexus Safety System Plus benefits from upgrades and additional with increase of scope of risk detection. Key elements include a pre-collision system with radar and camera to detect oncoming traffic including motorcycles. With the 3rd generation Lexus Safety System Plus, PCS can now detect cyclists during nighttime, And with the new intersection turning assist feature, it can detect oncoming traffic when turning, as well as pedestrian crossing the street. So again, these features are all available in the NX and the RX as well. So then the lane departure systems and the lane tracing assist is also available. The radar cruise control with the curve speed reduction is also available. So then the emergency driving stop system slows down the vehicle to a stop within the lane if the driver becomes unable to operate the controls. For example, suddenly there's an illness and that stops them from driving. So the system will warn other drivers by flashing the hazard lights. So hopefully nobody needs to use the system, but it's there. So to allow early activation, the emergency driving stop system, the driver monitor enables early detection of inappropriate driver state, such as distraction, poor posture, closed and or unblinking eyes, or movement of driver's head away from the usual position. So unblinking eyes, meaning they're just worried that you put a picture of yourself and it detects it. So I think that's what they're trying to do. And then the proactive driving assist that actually will usually used in lower speeds around town. It controls the distance between vehicles and the preceding vehicles and providing steering and deceleration support in response to hazardous and pedestrian, cyclists, and parked vehicles. So I have never experienced that myself, but this is new features that came in 2023 and 2024 models. So when you look at this, this is all what we have from Lexus Europe on the NCAP results. So now let's move over to the actual report and see what does it all mean and how does that compare to the NX and the RX reports that were done 2 years ago. All right, so here we have the full report. And what we're looking at right now is you can see that we have the left side, we have the RZ, the right side on the top, we have the NX, and on the bottom, we have the RX. So we can now compare them all in one screen. So you can see here the results. They all are 5 stars. One's 2022 and one's 2023. And you can see that the elder occupant is 87 versus 9190. And we talked about these ratings already. And then when we look into this, we can see that the car weight, so 2100 kilograms and 1810. And you can see that the RX is about the same weight. And then when you look at it, it's a large off-road, small off-road. So nothing really too big of a difference here. So let's scroll down and look at the next one. So when we look into the NX and the RX and the RZ here, so you can see that there's really no big of a difference other than in the safety equipment, the passenger has a knee airbag, whereas the RX and NX does not have that. And then when we look at the lateral crash protection, it's essentially the same. The RX actually has a passenger center airbag, whereas the RZ doesn't have it, the NX does not have it. And then we look at this ISO fix. So when we look at the child protection, essentially very similar. But this one now has the child presence detection, the passenger and the rear side. Whereas in the NX and the RX, that did not exist before. Okay, let's move down and we look at other systems. So you see in the RZ, there's actually more other systems than in the NX and the RX. So when you look at here, the active bonnet, which is not available on all three, the AEB, vulnerable road users, the pedestrian reverse is all good. And then when we look at the cyclist door prevention, this is green here, but it does not have it on the other systems. But I think they do because they have the safety exit assist. It was not measured at that time, and that's why it's not there. Then we have the motorcycle, car to car. So there's no motorcycle here. There's no motorcycle here. So I think the test is different, but I think if they did the same test again, some of these will be there as well. So the only thing that I would see here that is not available on the NX at this point is the fatigue distraction detection. The RX has that as well. So if we look at it, it would probably be exactly the same on the RX and only not having the fatigue distraction detection on the NX. but maybe when they do the refresh, it will be available. All right, so let's continue to scroll down. So this is where we see the adult occupants. Let's see what the NX and the RX in comparison. So we can see here, we have adequate in the chest on the driver and the right leg. But when you look into the NX, it was marginal on the chest, but everything was green. And then in the RX is actually worse. So you can see it's adequate on the legs, but it was marginal in the chest. But then when we start looking into the car itself, you can see that there is actually a good position here, whereas in both of them, they did not have it. But you can see in the rear, it actually had a weak chest versus it was adequate in the NX and it was marginal in the RX. So you can see that this has a little bit difference in scores, but overall the NX actually had a better score, 14.2, 13.8, and 12.9. Then when we look at the lateral impact, you can see that the RZ did much better job here, even though it actually had a marginal chest in the side pole, but overall 15.4, which is close to perfect scores compared to the 14.7 and 14.8 on the RX. And then when we look at the rear impact, the RZ got 3.7 versus the NX actually got 3.8, and the RZ got 3.7 as well. So seems like the smaller car gets a better rating, which is interesting. All right, moving down. So we look into the overall score. The RZ got 35.1, which is 87%, versus in the NX is 34.6, getting 91%. So that's a little bit interesting. And then when we look into the RX, 34.3, which is 90%. So it seems like there is a higher higher rating here, which is actually causing it to be 87. And even though it got higher points, the numbers are different. I won't be reading the comments here. If you're interested, definitely I'll leave a comment below with the link so that you can actually read it yourself. But overall, when you look into the ratings, the RZ's adult occupant is actually not too bad. Let's move on to the child. So let's go and scroll. So we have the child and we have the child. Okay. So in the child, if you look into this, 24 perfect scores on the RZ. Same with the RX, but the NX had 23.9, so it's only a little bit off. When we look at the safety features, 7.7, so same thing on all three vehicles. And then we have the CRS installation check. So this one, we have it here as well, and it's 12 perfect points, perfect points. They seem like they have actually changed how the visual of it. It gets a little bit harder to do a direct look into it, but essentially it is the same points. All right, then let's move down. So when we look into here, the child occupant, we can see total points, 43, 87%, 42.9, 87, and 43, 87. So there's no difference here. All right, so again, there's a description about the child occupancy, and I will not read it. You can actually read it after, if you're interested. All right, so the vulnerable road users. You can see that it actually had a higher rating, 53.4, which is 84%. The NX is 45.2, which is 83. And the RX is 48.2, which is 89%. Looking at it, you can see that the head impact and the cyclist is 11 points. So you can see there's no direct comparison here. The pelvis, 4.5, so this is 6 points. So I think this is just breaking it down further, giving you a little higher ratings, different type of ratings. And then they actually also have different types of mitigations, which this is not the same. So you really can't compare it like for like, but looking at the points, it seems to be still safe. So then we look at the AEB pedestrian. So they, again, different type of ratings here. It's more graphical representation here. The NX got 7 out of 9, where the RX got 9 out of 9, and the RZ getting 8.5 out of 9. So even though it's the same system, it seems like they have different ratings. So there has been improvements, but it's just not perfect. Somehow the RX got it perfect. So it has nighttime. Okay, the cyclist. So this is 8 out of 8. And the NX got 8.7 out of 9. And the RX got 9 out of 9. So definitely, again, something similar. Perfect points for the two. The smaller car got 8.7. This is the new section that we don't see in the NX and the RX. Cyclist door prevention, and also AEB motorcyclists and lane support motorcyclists. They got perfect scores, 1, 6, and 3. We don't see that in the RX and the NX because that was not a requirement when they did the test a year ago. So when you look at this, I think that the NX and the RX will actually get the same scores as well, because this is part of the LSS 3.0 and both cars have the same system. So I don't see this changing if the NX and RX had to do the new tests, and I think we are good there. So we scroll down in the RZ. So now we have speed assistance. So in the RZ, it got 2.1 out of 3, versus in the NX, it was 2.5, and the RX was 2.4. So it seems like there is a little bit downgrade in the score. And then when we look at the occupant monitoring, 1.3 out of 3. So what happened here? So it's really the driver monitor where actually it got knocked a lot of points here. Let's look into the NX. So NX got 1, and the seatbelt reminder got 2, so it got perfect scores here. And right now the seatbelt reminder is only 1 point, but then the driver monitoring is 2 points. So if we look at the RX, same thing. So if you look at this, the NX and the RX will most likely get a downgrade. The driver monitor system, which the RX has, I don't know if that is a little bit different or what is happening here. There's not a lot of information on why I only got 0.3 out of the 2 points, but we'll have to see if we can find more information on this. But I think if they had to do the test for the RX and NX, it will get the same points as well. All right, let's scroll down. Lane support. So let's look into this, the lane support. All right, so you can see here, perfect 3 out of 3. In the NX was 3.5, the RX was 3.5. So seems like it did a better job. And then when we look at the car-to-car, 5.8 versus 8.3. So there are actually more points now to the car-to-car. So NX, RX had the same, and the RZ got 8.3. So if we look at the average, I think it's very close. But then you can see here, they actually had an adequate approaching a car crossing a junction. Driver reacts to warning. So I think there's probably one thing that did not react fast enough. But overall, it still looked very good. So there you see it. This is the 2023, the RZ450E. It's been tested, it has 5 stars, and everything seems to be good. So overall, very good rating for the RZ. Nothing to be not proud of. Only thing is there are room for improvement, definitely in this driver monitoring area, 0.3, but overall it's actually scored quite well. And when you compare it to the NX and the RX, I would say it is actually quite similar. If the NX and RX today had to go through the new tests, their numbers percentages definitely would have gone down, but it would still be a 5-star rating. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please comment, like, share this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel and press that bell icon to get notified when new videos are posted. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can provide me a super thanks. And until next time, cheers.